All right, so this has come up a few times when I make videos, but sometimes I need to blur stuff in the screen recording, and I haven't really found a great way to do it. But this time around, actually, I feel like I found a decent solution that BoardSoft recommended on Reddit here. It's called Sensarea. You can download from the site here. I think it's maintained by Pascal, perhaps, not 100% sure. When you open the software, you can go ahead and open a video. I've already done that, selected actually a previous recording of this. And you can play the video and watch it. If it's going too slowly, you can just grab the slider to scroll through it. Um, and that's actually an example of a previous project at the end there. But basically, I'm going to show you a few simple things. So one thing is basically for blurring. I might want to have this text blurred for whatever reason. So you can select with a rectangle. You can draw it with a brush. There's a few different options. For me, the rectangle works. I was just working with like text and boxes essentially. And then here, what you can do is you can do one frame tracking. So hit T a bunch. It'll like iterate through the frames and start applying the effect. Any effect that's tied to the selection you've made, or you can just click on this instead, and it'll just run through and track until it finds the point at which the image changes and is no longer there. So we'll go ahead and wait for that to happen. This is me talking earlier about the same intro, but I messed up video partially. So eventually I'll click on the next tab and it'll go ahead and make a little beep noise, and it knows that that has been that selection has changed. It's no longer applicable. Interesting how it shifted there. Tried for a long time. It's like still tracking. Well, why don't we provide an example again? Okay, so tracking. Okay, this is when I swap over. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and set another rectangle here, set it to start tracking, and when I switch, you hear that little beep, and it actually stops tracking. And since you can like navigate by frame with the left right keys, you can get really precise about when you want to start tracking or stop tracking something. If we look at effects here right now, I've set the neon. I don't actually want that, I want blur. So now you can see that for the period where this has been applied, it's blurring it out, which is exactly what I want. Super easy. You can also, if you want to blur multiple things at the same time, you might be able to do it same layer. I haven't figured out how. I just add a new layer, set my blur effect, and then I can go ahead and make another selection here of, I don't know, this section, for example. And another thing I learned is if you hit Control C here, and then grab in this bar the section you want to apply to, which you can see it like developing over time. So if we were to do something similar to when the page swaps, we want it to stop, go ahead and just Control B to copy it. And now there's a blur effect in that other part of the page as well at the same time, which is pretty cool. So now I don't always know how to get it to show in the preview, but it will be blurred, which is really cool. Yeah, so really simple tool to use. There's other tutorials on like tracking faces and stuff if you want to get fancy. There's different tracking methods you can use here that kind of will adjust or not adjust basically as the shape shifts over time. But for my simple use case of blurring out just like static or relatively static text on a page, this worked really well. And then when you're done, you can export it as a video, choose your resolution. You can also save your projects. If you want to come back to it later, you're not done, you can do that. Yeah, great little tool that highly recommend for at least that specific use case.